Yeah, I uploaded a video yesterday at like 1 o'clock or something. Don't get used to it. If I have the time, I'll make it happen, and I just felt like it. But anyway, to the video. When YouTube red pills the love of your life. My God, this is one of the most ridiculous articles I've ever read. And it's kind of serious, okay? I can't stop laughing as I read through it. But also, what I think this is trying to do is play into this narrative that YouTube is somehow a radicalization machine, which it's not. Now, don't get me wrong. If you watch a certain trend of content, yes, you will start believing things if you're getting an unhealthy and unbalanced media diet. In this story, we talk about how people start believing, race realism stuff from watching Molyneux, and Jordan Peterson makes them anti-feminist or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, hold on. Certainly, yes, there are some people who will convince you of something, and it's possible to go down a rabbit hole. The weirdest thing to me is that the people who go down the rabbit hole, the people who hear the dog whistles, yeah, they're the lefties who work for these major publications. It's kind of weird, isn't it, that the Women's March is being run by overt anti-Semites, and these people working for these digital left-wing media publications know what all of these dog whistles are. They call out PewDiePie, because PewDiePie highlighted a YouTube channel, and PewDiePie's like, guys, I don't know what any of these things mean. Why is it that all these journalists do? Right? They know, they see things I don't even see, and like, this is my job. Like, I do research and follow this stuff and report on it. Why is it that the journalists know so much about neo-Nazism? Kind of freaks me out, especially when you realize the Women's March is run by overt anti-Semites, and they're still being supported by many publications. But anyway, I don't necessarily want to read through this, but I do want to point out some things. So first, what it's like to watch Terrified and Helpless as your partner becomes radicalized by hate on the fringe right. Certainly, Jordan Peterson is not the fringe right. He's actually rather mainstream. And one thing I do want to point out, too, that I don't think would necessarily be criticism, but often people say that Jordan Peterson is acting like he's removed from the mainstream. I don't think Jordan Peterson ever does that. I believe that's not the case. From what I've seen from Jordan Peterson, his presentations, he's always been rather mainstream. And I don't know where this narrative came from that people think he's not. He's a professor at a university. He was featured on public television in Canada. He's been on the BBC. He has a New York Times bestseller. I don't know where this idea came from on the left, where they're acting like Peterson was ever a marginalized voice or like hidden or something. He's not the fringe right. He's just a mainstream kind of center personality who advocates for some traditional values. He is religious too. Excuse me. Sarah, a pseudonym, 30, had met Greg while she was studying for her master's degree in psychology. He worked at her local pub near Holborn, West London. Craig, who had voted for the Conservative Party in 2010 but wasn't interested in politics, worked odd jobs as a bartender, bouncer at a nightclub, contractor, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she says that he was a really chilled out guy for the first couple of years we were together. Sarah tells me when we meet at a cafe near her place, small and slender with bright blue eyes and dyed blonde hair, Sarah looks down at her cup of tea as she recalls the best moments of her relationship, the ones she tried to fixate on during those nights when Craig would shout at her, claim she was a bitch and a whore, and send her text messages calling her an anti-English dumb liberal. Can I just point out, what they're trying to claim here is that nearly all of his arguments came from YouTube videos he was watching, Sarah tells me, because he'd work at night, he'd spend all day on the internet watching them, blah, blah, blah. Okay. She talks about how he watches anti-immigrant videos where they yell, thank you, Merkel, and things like that, and the scientific evidence suggesting that white people have higher IQs than black people and South Asian. Okay, first of all, I really hate the whole race IQ stuff, but let's just point something out. I didn't know this. I really didn't. Vox.com ran this article saying white people had higher IQs than black people. And I genuinely, look, I've been on the left my whole life, and I thought that was propaganda. I really, really did believe that there was no difference. There is, apparently. Apparently the debate is not about whether or not there is or isn't a disparity in IQ, it's what causes it. And my understanding is that it's extremely contentious with very inconclusive data. Of course, you're going to have people like Molyneux saying, no, it's true, talking about brain size and stuff like that, but then you have more mainstream publications saying it's not true. We just don't know for sure. We haven't found any markers to prove it. And that's why, for me, for the most part, I'm kind of like, it's probably a mix of nature and nurture. I don't know if race is the defining factor, because I certainly know a ton of dumb white people, a ton of dumb Asian people, but also a ton of smart black people, a ton of smart Asian people. So for me, I'm kind of like, look, man, my shit's anecdotal. The point is, I don't know of any YouTube channel claiming that white people have higher IQs than South Asian people. Maybe they're talking about India or something, but I still don't know if I agree with that because Indians are extremely successful in the tech sector. Anyway, I don't want to get into that discussion. It's stupid. The point is, I think they might be wrong about this, but let's point something out. When you're complaining about your significant other being red-pilled, okay, the first thing they mention is the dude was already a conservative. All right, just because you're claiming he wasn't interested in politics, this is actually a story of a liberal woman who started hooking up with a conservative guy, and then they started getting into fights. It doesn't sound like it has anything to do with YouTube or politics. It sounds like it has to do with the fact you've been dating someone for a long time and you're fighting with him. More importantly, I could also make the argument that maybe he's always been a conservative and isn't red-pilled. He was literally a conservative, and it's you who has started embracing things. Because, as we have seen from The Economist data, I don't have it pulled up, another thing I cite very often, it shows that the left has been spreading out and moving further left, while conservatives have been sort of centering around common values. It's much more likely, in my opinion, that the dumb liberal woman, I would never call someone that, maybe I have, I don't know, I shouldn't, I try not to, but I do get angry sometimes. But this woman who is a liberal is more likely adopting more far-left positions because that's been happening for some time now. And thus, the arguments are actually her shift to the far left, not his shift to the Conservative Party, which he was already a member of, okay? This dude's conservative, and he already believes these things, and he's already voting for these people. It doesn't sound like he changed, all right? In which case, I'm not going to say you changed either. I'm going to say, literally, you've been dating for like 8 years, 9 years. Maybe you're just fighting with each other. Maybe you're having, arguments. The funny thing, too, is the other stories in this about, getting red-pilled or whatever, is Sarah and Craig's relationship. There's another relationship. Basically, I don't dig through it. There's another relationship that it turns out the dude was conservative. It's like, listen, man, you can't take a couple where one's conservative and then claim he changed because of YouTube. But let's see what they say. The term red pill refers to the internet's manosphere. It doesn't. A collection of male-dominated subcultures that ranges from incels to men's rights activists. It doesn't. Red pill actually means different things, different people. Red pill is the antithesis of woke. In some circumstances, red pill has been used to refer to the pickup artist community. It has, in some circumstances, been used to refer to men's rights. But I will say, however, this article is very, very wrong because I'm pretty sure the incels have the black pill. The black pill is very, very different from the red pill, okay? Apparently, red pill isn't enough. And the black pill has more to do with misogyny and, what's the other one? Androgyny, I think, like the hatred of men, not red pill. So this article is, very wrong in a lot of ways. And they bring up, so The Guardian described red pill communities as a network of groups that collectively envisioned a reality that women run the world without taking responsibility for it, and that their male victims aren't permitted to complain. Except, they're conflating the political red pill with the men's rights or pickup artist red pill. The pickup artist community has used the term the red pill for a while. They have a subreddit called that, and that's confusing. I talked to Lacey Green about this because, she was talking about the difference. When people say take the red pill in a political sense, they're talking about becoming conservative or, in opposition to woke authoritarianism. It has nothing to do with, dating a woman. So there is some overlap, for sure, but they do mean different things. Basically, woke and red pill mean literally the same thing, but it's just the common phrase for the other side. Red pill comes from the Matrix, where you take the blue pill or the red pill wakes you up. The woke people are they've awoken to what's going on in this, whatever. They bring up that popular mantras used on red pill message boards includes feminism is cancer, the same phrase used by right-wing provocateurs Milo and Paul Joseph Watson, so there is an overlap, for sure, but for different reasons. The incel types, which have the black pill, believe that feminism is a cancer for different reasons. They typically talk about, marriage, having kids, and how men are disadvantaged in certain ways, whereas sometimes Paul Joseph Watson and Milo might talk about that a little bit. They mostly talk about the political ramifications, about immigration and things like that. So there's kind of an overlap, but it's different. On Reddit, where red pill pages have more than 200,000 members and are among the most vibrant communities on the platform, men, often those who are socially awkward and emotionally vulnerable, are told that women are, by nature, manipulative, attention-seeking, inconsistent, emotional, and hypergamous. Accept this truth. Once you do, you can game women for what they are. Right, so what a stupid article. They're mixing these two communities together, okay? And then they start talking about white nationalism, and it's you got two different things going on here. But then they start talking, I don't know. Anyway, Here's another. This is a lot in here, huh? This situation. This is the situation Ellen found herself in as she watched her boyfriend, 30-year-old Stephen, become more and more entrenched in right-wing online content. Speaking over the phone, Ellen tells me that at times she felt hypocritical being in a relationship. This is funny. She's a socialist, okay? Ellen uses her social media account to post anti-conservative messages, memes about the failures of capitalism in support of anti-racist organizations. Her and Stephen, however, have been childhood friends growing up in the same small town of England, the place where families all, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that should have been, I knew he had some controversial views before we started going out. Maybe that should have been a warning. But we also had a family history. He worked in my mom's office, and to me, he was always the attractive guy. Okay, you know what? I have no idea how this article went on for so long. I'll point out, yeah, there's like weird race IQ stuff, but the point is, both of these examples they cite, it's like a liberal woman who already dated a conservative guy, and they both say he has controversial views, and now they're surprised. Once again, the smearing of YouTube. The lie that's being perpetrated, that's being pushed to claim that YouTube is a radicalization machine, and their examples are people who already held these beliefs. So anyway, It says, for Sarah, similar feelings remain, though she hasn't been in contact with Craig for several months. I was listening to Coldplay when I was cleaning the other day, and she laughs, and the video next to YouTube had scheduled for me was these right-wing talk shows in America about how abortion clinics are being secretly funded by George Soros. I see these kinds of videos on my recommended pages all the time. That has to do with what you watch. YouTube is recommending similar topics to you, okay? If the left isn't engaging in that debate online, it's not because there's a conspiracy, it's because the mainstream left is talking about different things. Plain and simple. Anyway, I don't know how this video went on for so long, but the point is, they keep trying to claim that YouTube radicalizes people. It doesn't. Sure, there's probably a small fringe minority that have been radicalized to that extent, but for the most part, they've just said over and over again that people already had these views. And they're also conflating the red pill pickup artist community with political community. What is this? This is ridiculous. I just thought it was funny. When YouTube red pills the love of your life, please. Anyway, whatever, bonus video, stick around. My main video will be at 4 p.m. on the main channel. I'll see you then.